All right, welcome one and all to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I'm your host, John, and we had an exciting weekend in the world of sports, filled with a lot of playoff action. Baseball starting to roll. For baseball, the honeymoon is kind of failed. Is kind of the luster is kind of off it. Now we're down to the day-to-day drudgery of it. Really, we get to that in June and July, but now we're starting to kind of figure out a rhythm. We're seeing who's who, and there's still time. I'm not like the clowns on ESPN Sunday night. Oh, this is a must-win series. Oh my God, Jesus criminy, right? All right, let's talk about what happened this weekend in the world of sports, specifically Sunday. Now, we're gonna have two amazing podcasts today. I'm gonna do one with Brian, and I'm also gonna do one with Scott. We're going to talk anywhere from the world of motorsports to baseball to hockey. We're going to get into it. Okay, so listen, you're going to learn something. I'm telling you. But first of all, what I need you to do is hit that like and subscribe. That means a lot to us. Leave some comments. Always appreciate those. Though I seem to be having a hard time finding it, whatever it is. All right, let's talk about what happened on Sunday. Beautiful Sunday. Joey Logano won the NASCAR event at Texas. Scott and I are going to talk a little about that. Oscar Piastri won the F1 in Miami. Scotty Scheffler set a tour record at the Byron Nelson. He was on fire. That guy was on fire. That was the first time this year I've seen the real Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's still good. Don't get me wrong. Even Scotty at 85% is better than 93% of the guys out there. But boy, you gave him a wet course. That guy was just on fire. All right. Let's get to the NBA, one of my favorite playoffs. The Pacers, starting out their series with Cleveland, went into Cleveland and took a 121-112 win. And, this was a competitive game. Third quarter was basically 1 point. And the Pacers, man, I'm going to tell you, I still like Cleveland in this series, but Greg Anthony, I thought, made some really good points. And I don't like Greg Anthony as an announcer. During this game, there was a play in the third quarter where Donovan Mitchell was at the three-point line. He got fouled in the act of shooting. And the announcer, I think it was BA, Brian Anderson, said, oh, it's three shots. So he shot the first one, made it. He missed the second, and Indiana rebounded it. And there was confusion if it was three shots or two shots. Okay, I'm not going to hold that to it. But Greg Anthony says, was that the third foul shot? I'm like, what? Are you not watching the game? It was only the second one. Duh. I was just like, man. But with that said, he did make the point where he said, and I think this is really the series that's going to be obvious. If they can have an up-tempo pace, the height of Cleveland will not matter as much. And if Indiana can keep imposing their will, and really it comes down to hitting three-pointers, making them play catch-up. If they can do that, they can win this series. I still think Cleveland's going to win in 7, but at the end of the day, Indiana put on a very, very impressive game. Warriors, I'll call it like it is, man. I thought Houston was going to win this game. The Warriors under Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, had 33 points. Amon Thompson for the losing Houston Rockets, 24-9. They just went in and they were able to figure out ways to score. Houston seemed flummoxed what was going on. I think this was a good example of championship pedigree from Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and the gang. They won a game they probably should have lost. But you know what? At the end of the day, the scoreboard. They won. They won. It is what it is. All right. Let's get over to the NHL. And truly, and it's, I don't know if it's a cliche. Unfortunately, somebody had to lose this game. I picked the Blues to win this series. They lost in double overtime, a thriller, 4-3 to the Winnipeg Jets. Kudos to the Jets. Good luck. We got Florida against Toronto. We got the Jets against the Capitals. We shall see how that all works out. All right, we're getting, like I said, we'll probably talk a little more with Scott later today on the podcast. Let's go what happened in the beautiful Major League Baseball. Cardinals wrapped up the series, won 6-5 with the Mets. Royals, who are hot. They are hotter than a barbecue in West Texas in July. 11 and the one they beat the Orioles 11-6. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The Twins beat the Red Sox. Red Sox 4-6 in their last 10. Every time I think I get a little thought they're going to go on a run, they just bring me back to 1986. God bless them. Twins win 5-4. Padres beat the Pirates because everybody beats the Pirates 4-0. The Rays beat the Yankees 7-5 to salvage one game in that series. Guardians beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Guardians 20-14. Telling you right now, I have a lot of respect for that organization. I do not know how they do it. I mean, they bring up great pitching, but geez, man, they just figure out a way. Athletics beat the Marlins 3-2. Athletics. If I asked you what is the Athletics record, you guys know what you're talking about. I think most people would say, they're 500. They're 19-16. Yeah, they're 19-16. Go figure. Diamondbacks beat the Phillies in 10, 11-9. Both teams doing really well. 19-15 for the Phillies, 18-16 for the D-backs. Cubs lost to the Brewers 4-0. Astros lost to the White Sox. White Sox are 10-24. And I know, I'm just going to keep going down the hole. I think the White Sox are a lot more competitive than their record indicates. At the end of the day, I get everybody out there who says, "Hey, John, middle finger you." The record is the record. Rangers fired their offensive coordinator. I don't even know what that is because they've been in such a slump lately. They beat the Mariners 8-1. Mariners 20-13. I'm going to tell you something. I'm still not buying the Mariners. I had faith in the Mariners last year. I think it was in June. They were 12 games over 500. They barely got to 85 wins. I just don't think they have enough offense. Sorry, just don't believe it. The Giants beat the Rockies because you know what? If you lose to the Rockies, actually you should be relegated to AAA. Giants won 9-3. They're 22-13. Impressive. Tigers beat the Angels 13-1. I watched that game. I watched the last two games of this series. I don't know what's going on with the Angels. I mean, really, I don't know. And I don't know when we're going to see Mike Trout again. And I do hope we'll talk about this with Brian, that he does come back soon. But I'm not hearing anything good coming out of there. I think they're going to shut it up like they did last year. And then this week they're going to put out, he's going to go on the 60-day IL. Yeah, I hope not. We'll see. Nationals beat the Reds 4-1. Reds are another team. They're 18-17. Every time I think they're going to go on a run, they smack me in the head. Cardinals won the doubleheader, won 5-4 over the Mets in the nightcap. And in a shock of all shockers, the Braves beat the Dodgers 4-3, snapping the Dodgers' 7-game winning streak. You know, the Dodgers are just sneaky good. I mean, we all know they're good. On the road, they're actually very vulnerable. They're 8-8 on the road. But, man, they sure got healthy on this road trip. That's for sure. The Braves, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, that's it today for the Scorched Earth. Off the Rails Political Podcast. I wish I could edit that out. Off the Rails Sports Podcast. Off the Rails. Okay, you see that right there? That's Off the Rails, me and my buddies. All right, if you could, hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us, and we'll see you soon on Off the Rails.